We have hit the halfway point of the 2025 Turkey Hill Truck Series season, and now the drive for the championship begins now here as we head into the second half of the season. What an interesting first half we have had, and definitely going to be interesting to see how the second half of the season will play out. We are here to start it all off here at one of the interesting racetracks here on the calendar. We are here at the Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park here in Brownsburg, Indiana. This track has had some pretty notable moments in the past. The last time out here, we had an absolutely crazy race. How did this race play out? We'll just have to wait and see how it all ends up shaking out here after 50 laps around IRP. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome to race number 10 here on the 2025 Turkey Hill Truck Series season. Welcome to the Lucas Oil 200 here at IRP. What's going on, everybody? Caleb here, and welcome to the Lucas Oil 200 here at the Indianapolis Raceway Park. Race number 10 here on the 2025 Turkey Hill Truck Series season. Like I said, it's quite an interesting season that has been so far up to this point, but now that we're starting to enter here into the second half of the season, these ratings have had time to fester and really start to fall into place, and we're really starting to see a lot of trends form now as, like I said, these ratings are really starting to set in stone now. And definitely starting to see it here as we enter the second half of the season. A lot of familiar faces up here at the front of the field. And just last time out at Watkins Glen, we saw Aaron Abel get his second win of the season, joining Brian Webb in company there for multi-time winners this season. But this race could definitely see potentially another multi-time winner, but there's still a lot of fast drivers so far this season that's looking for their first career win, such as our pole sitter, the 24 of Duncan Ward, maybe looking to make it 2 for 2 here for Renegade Gutierrez Racing. Have to see how it all ends up shaking out, but it's definitely going to be a very interesting race here from IRP. And joining me alongside here on the call, we got Matt Tuck, and we also got Stuart Grattan up here on the call for this race. Thank you both so much for joining me here for this one. Start with you, Matt. You've been my wingman for quite a few races so far this season. You have seen just how this season has gone, how these ratings and stuff has developed. But now that we enter here into the second half of the season, like I said, the drive for the championship really starts to kick into high gear now. Especially at a track like this, things could definitely get very, very interesting. So what are your expectations here tonight from these guys here for 50 laps here around the Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to get exciting here tonight. Obviously, we've seen some very intense short track action here we've seen some just wild up and down action this season. I don't think we had Renegade Racing as our team to beat here at the halfway point of the season, but that is where we're at. They have taken it to absolutely everybody so far and currently sit atop. But it should be a fun race here tonight, obviously. And you're going to have to be careful here tonight, too, because there's going to be some heavy pit wear. And anytime you get heavy tire degradation and anytime you get heavy tire deg, it's almost a guarantee to get some sort of calamity.
Absolutely. Like you just mentioned there, the tire degradation here tonight is going to be a very, very significant factor in this race. Running the same IRP as they did last time out and in the Winners Showdown a couple years ago. And the tire wear here is just absolutely substantial. We're going to see multiple seconds worth of fall off here tonight, and that pit window running about at the midway point of the race. Definitely going to be interesting to see what kind of strategy these guys will be cooking up here tonight. And Stuart, you've had quite a few experiences here at this racetrack. You know just how challenging of a racetrack this can be, especially with that high tire wear in place. But it's definitely going to be really interesting to see how all these guys will manage that here tonight. But what are your expectations here as we head here into race number 10 of the season and the second half of the season here at the Indianapolis Raceway Park?
It's going to be a very interesting race tonight because we're getting now to the point. There's always a point where, we start to see the real front runners make their way to the front. We've officially hit that point, it feels like, you look at all the guys in the first three rows you can see here are all, inside the top you'd say they're up in the upper echelon, and then even back you see back to Blaine in seventh. They're all in that upper echelon guys who could go out and win consistently on just about any kind of racetrack. In terms of what we're going to see tonight, talked about that high tyre wear. That's going to make a big difference. And you also mentioned that pit cycle. If the first opportunity you want to come down, get tyres, get the undercut. Yes, it'll hurt later on in the run, but how much time you could gain on just that pit stop, just one lap makes a big difference. So, look, as the run goes along, as you said, it will be harder to overtake, and you might see some guys, be able to run the high line and kind of hold drivers behind them. But I think it's going to be a fascinating race, and we'll see if it stays green. That's the other thing as well, because if there is a yellow, that kind of, depending on where it is, could change strategy. Some guys may come down, and then you have to pit again. So it'll be a fascinating race. I'm looking forward to it, and the championship is very, very tight at the moment too. I mean, you've got a lot of these guys that are right within the window and right in contention for the championship. So there's still a lot to play out with half the season.
Definitely still a lot left on the table here as we head into the second half of the season. Still definitely a lot of opportunities for things to go down, and tonight, like you said, definitely going to be a very, very fascinating race, especially just with how this track races in general, as well as the high tire wear and pitch strategy. That's really going to probably make or break a lot of these guys' race. Unfortunately, last year at this very race, fortunately kind of broke Blaine Keys as he got into a bit of an incident during the pit cycle from the race lead and ended up losing the race to the 6 of Jack Haas. Have to see how this race ends up shaking out. Definitely has that opportunity for maybe a bit of calamity. We'll just have to wait and see how it all ends up shaking out here after 50 laps around the Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park. Really quickly before we get these guys rolling off here, we will take a quick look here at your point standings coming into the 10th race of the season. Of course, like I mentioned, after nabbing his second win of the season last time out at the Watkins Glen International, Aaron Abel now holds on to that points lead. Excuse me there. But just has a 3-point gap back to both Brian Webb and Andrew Williams, who are both tied for that second place spot in the points. And then you have Nicholas Samadillo just 10 points behind Philip Torres, who nabbed a really good finish last time out at Watkins Glen. I believe he finished in the 3rd position. He's 5th in points, only 23 back. Matthew Hubert is 6th, 25 back. Duncan Ward, your pole sitter, comes in 7th, 30 back. Nathan Stapleton is tied with Rogaldorn there for 8th. They're both 34 points back. And Blaine Keys comes into the race 10th in points, 38 points behind. So the top 10 all within 40 points of each other. So like I said, still definitely a lot of opportunity for some shakeups here as we enter into the second half of the season. It's absolutely far from over. And like I said, definitely going to be interesting to see how this rest of the season will play out. But definitely going to be really interesting to see how tonight's race will play out here after everything is said and done here at the Indianapolis Raceway Park here for the Lucas Oil 200. But I think that is just enough yapping out of me. I think it's about time we get these guys rolling here from the Indianapolis Raceway Park, and as they do, we'll take a quick look here through your starting lineup here for the Lucas Oil 200 here at IRP. Like before mentioned, starting on the pole position is the number 24 of Duncan Ward, starting alongside the Broke Boys Garage Machine there of Andrew Williams. Row 2, it's a lockout for the Triad Racing Cars as Nathan Stapleton going to be starting there in the 3rd position alongside his teammate Joe Rutkowski. Row 3, we find the other Broke Boys Garage Machine of Logan Williams, starting alongside the 97 of Tyler Jericho. Row number 4 is the number 1 of Blaine Keys, who had this race kind of swept out from underneath his feet last year. Looking for maybe a bit of redemption here this time around. He starts alongside the number 69, the Ronnie Racing Ford of Jeffrey Finguy. And rounding out your top 10, we have the number 14 of Ladovic Charette, starting alongside the 05 of Isaac Nichols. But Matt and Stewart, as these guys roll off, I gotta ask you though, who is your all's picks to go to victory lane here in the Lucas Oil 200 here from IRP?
I think we're in need of a big night here at GRT. And I think the driver to step up here for us tonight, it's not the Broke Boys Garage Duo, it's going to be Blaine Keys.
No bias in that one, I'm sure. I'm going to go with Nathan Stapleton. No bias whatsoever. Nathan Stapleton, the 61, home race for him. Starts in a very good position, and I think he'll go to victory lane here.
2 trucks so far this season that have looked quick, but unfortunately have ran into some bad luck. Have to see if they can turn it around here from the IRP. But coming through turns 3 and 4, Duncan Ward, Andrew Williams is going to lead the field down the front straightaway. Second half of the season begins here tonight. But here we go. Ward and Williams are going to lead us down the front straightaway and to the green flag. We're racing here in the Lucas Oil 200 here at IRP. And off the start, a great jump out of the 24 of Duncan Ward. He leads the opening lap here at IRP. Andrew Williams slots into second. Nathan Stapleton slots into third. Here comes the 10 of Logan Williams looking on the 72 of Rutkowski, and all over his back bumper is the 97 of Tyler Jericho, looking to maybe try and get off that outside lane. A lot of the moves are going to be made here while the tires are still fresh, and definitely seeing a lot of shuffling here in the early stages of this race as Leonard Kochmer looking to try and get inside the top 10 here as he goes for a move there on the 69 of Jeffrey Pinkeye. Brian Webb in the 60 has already entered the top 10 there in that Mahindra Motorsports Toyota. Tyler Jericho has gotten to the inside. He's past Joe Rutkowski and slots in behind the number 1 machine of Blaine Keys. But Duncan Ward in the 24 already looking sporty here in this one. He is pulling away in the early stages of this race as he's already pulled away over a second to the 11 of Andrew Williams.
Yeah, I mean, the 24 just grabbed the lead early and shot out of a cannon. I mean, the gap from first to second covers the gap between second to seventh. So, I mean, that says something. The pace he's putting down in just 4 laps. Now, he's got to be careful here as Blaine Keys makes a move on Logan Williams for the 4th position. But Duncan does have to be careful here because obviously we know the tires are going to wear off quite dramatically tonight. And if you mess up on that pit strategy, you could get absolutely punished for it here tonight. So it is important to build a big gap early on.
Absolutely. Duncan Ward, like I said, doing a good job here at building this gap up, but like I said, does need to be a bit careful to still do a good job on pit road. And of course, especially here on the racetrack, not to wear his tires out too much. Like I said, those things are going to be wearing as if the track is made out of cheese graters. So I have to see how it all ends up shaking out as this run goes along, but at least in the earliest parts of this race, that 24 is absolutely on rails right now, as he's now decreased that gap to about 1.5 seconds. Now over 1.5 seconds. Back to the 11 of Andrew Williams. Nathan Stapleton still holding on to third, but Blaine Keys in the 1 is definitely looking quite sporty as well. As now he's all over the back bumper of Stapleton, looking to get up to third. Tyler Jericho up into the 5th position. That 97 looking quick as well. Logan Williams in 6th, Charette in 7th. Rutkowski's not had the best start, but still running up here in the top 10. He runs in the 8th position, and we got a pretty decent-sized battle back here for our final spots in the top 10. As now Leonard Kochman, 39, goes to 9th, and now Matthew Huber in the 52. Looking to take 10th away as Webb slips back to 11th. Here comes Sam Medeo in the 6th. Started a little ways towards the back of the field, but making some moves here early on. So is his Parker Davis teammate of Skep Silver. Both on the move here in the early stages of this race, but still got a long way to go. Duncan Ward still looking really sporty in that 24, as now the gap is 2.3 seconds as we come to complete lap number 9.
I was just about to say, we haven't even got to 10 laps yet, and this is the margin that the 24 already has. So this truck, they've certainly got at least short run speed. We'll see if that carries through to the end of this run as well. But looking really, really promising. You can see straight away he was on it. I reckon there must be somewhat ironic for Andrew Williams, who's second at the moment, seeing that the guy who just won the Wildlife Cup Series for him, he's currently 2.5 seconds of pulling away. He's done a good job this year, Andrew Williams, it should be said. 30 points coming into this race and making ground on a lot of the championship contenders around him, which is, I'd still say you'd probably take that if you're Andrew. I reckon Keys and Jericho, that are 4th and 5th at the moment, looks like they've got better trucks than Stapleton. but just cannot find a way around because, again, these tyres have worn so much to this point already that it's just so hard to get close enough and make that pass down on the inside. So we'll see what happens here in terms of strategy, but it might just be a case of just holding position for the time being.
I have to see how it all ends up shaking out, but yeah, like I kind of mentioned, as this race goes along and the tires start to wear, it's definitely going to get quite difficult to pass. And already seeing it here so far as Keys maybe struggling a little bit here to get around the 61 of Nathan Stapleton. Got Tyler Jericho queued up there right behind him, and Logan Williams looking to close in, as is Charette and Joe Rutkowski. Duncan Ward in the 24 just out of here with the race lead as it stands right now. Now a 3.2 second gap back to the 11 of Andrew Williams. We know this guy's had a lot of strengths as a team owner, and now has really come to play here as a driver so far here in the Turkey Hill Truck Series season, and probably thinking to himself, yeah, that's my champion pulling away from me right now. But Williams closed the gap a little bit that last time by, closed at about 0.2 of a second. Have to see if he can maybe continue reeling in that 24, but maybe Duncan Ward pushed it a little bit too hard. But as soon as I say that, Duncan pulls away about 0.3 of a second, so I guess just pretend that I didn't say that, as Tyler Jericho now goes to the inside of Blaine Keys and move the Heartland Enterprises Toyota now up into the 4th position.
And Jericho moving his way through the field nicely. I mean, I think the strategy now from second on back is quite easy. As soon as the tire window opens here, you need to be the first truck down pit road. You will have the opportunity here, if you're second, third, fourth here tonight. You do have the opportunity with how high the tire deck is. You can get back in contention in this race. You could also see a caution flag come out potentially. That would throw some guys back into contention here. But the strategy, you know, the pace of this 24 truck is making the strategy quite clear here tonight. I mean, he's averaging over 0.4 a lap. He's opening this gap up. I mean, it's pretty simple here. You need to undercut him, or he's just going to walk away, and I mean, maybe he'll lap the whole field here tonight. Who knows?
That would definitely be a crazy feat for Duncan Ward, but with the pace that he's got right now, if he can keep it up, I don't know. We'll have to see how it all ends up shaking out. He pulled away a ton that last time around. That 24 is absolutely just dialed in here for MyRP, as he now almost has a 5-second gap back to the 11 of Andrew Williams. He's already getting close to catching lap traffic. You got the 73 of LJ Semedo there bringing up the rear at the time being, but 24 has a huge cushion back to the 11 of Andrew Williams as it stands right now, and that 24 continues pulling away. That definitely gives him a bit of leeway to maybe mix it up a little bit with the strategy, maybe come in a little bit later and go for fresher tires on the long run. Definitely be really interesting to see what everybody does decide to do, but starting to close in a little bit on halfway here in just a couple laps time, and once we get there, it's just going to be a few laps away from those pit cycles. So it's showing up on the horizon, so these guys definitely need to be thinking about what they want to do. But just, man, with this pace of the 24, this race has absolutely flown by here so far.
Absolutely. You said what I was just about to say. You know, this margin that Duncan's now got on Williams and the cars or the trucks behind. You know, he can now, you know, if he wants to come down a lap later, he could probably get away with it given how far ahead he is, although the margin's just kind of stabilised now. Look at this gaggle. Look at these trucks down all the way down to Rutkowski, who's now being passed by Hubert. They're all stuck behind Stapleton, who has not quite got the speed that I thought he would have in this race, and you can see now it's getting really hard to overtake. You know, you want to get down as soon as possible to undercut. Even if you know, guys like Hubert, for example, back in here. Look at Skep doing a nice job in the 10th position. Samadeo in 11th. You know, these guys, you want to come down early, get those fresh tyres, and maybe undercut some of the guys as well. The other thing with pit road, you've got to have a clean pit stop. There's no debating that. You have to have a clean pit stop, especially if you're going to go the undercut. You cannot make any mistakes.
Absolutely. That's going to definitely be a very huge factor in the race. These guys just need to get in and off as cleanly as possible, and we saw that could definitely be a big factor in this race last year. It's kind of like I was talking about pre-race. Blaine Keys dominated the opening part of the race. Once pit cycles ended up coming around, he came in quite early, and unfortunately on the outlap ran into the 28 of Eric Monaco as he was trying to come into the pit lane. And And you all know how that race went, so this thing's still far from over. Definitely going to be intriguing to see how this pit cycle will all shake out and what everybody elects to do. But yeah, that 24 of Duncan Ward. He's definitely probably got a lot of options here at this point because now he's got a 6.3 second gap back to the 11 of Andrew Williams, and they've really kind of queued up here behind the 61 of Stapleton. Really struggling to maybe try and find a way around him as these tires are pretty much toast at this point. You'll probably have seen the average speed really start dipping over these last couple of laps, but they're still fighting quite a bit amongst themselves. As Key's trying to hold on there to the 5th position. Matthew Hubert underneath the 10 of Logan Williams. Rakowski underneath the 14 of Dovic Shred. And how about this 06 of Skep Silver? Also, like I kind of mentioned with San Mateo, started towards the back of the field a little bit. Not the best qualifying run, but definitely a lot of speed in these Parker Davis Enterprises Fords. And Skep Silver now looking to go to the 9th position as underneath the 14 of Ladovic Charette. Up here, these guys just all over the back bumper of the 61 of Nathan Stapleton. Out front, it's a 6.6 second gap to Duncan Ward. And starting to close in really now here on lap traffic, but we're on to lap number 27. We should potentially see the pit cycle open up and might start seeing some guys duck down the pit lane.
You know, the last time, you don't see domination like this often in NR, but the last time I saw a car dominate like this was Ladovic Charette in a Stock Car World Cup race at Rockingham. And I think she had about a 9.5, 10-second lead at one point. And then she blew a motor. Now, for our sake, I would, that could happen here tonight. That might not, but maybe that's an omen. Ward's going to have a hard time passing these lappers, though, and I think that's going to start to eat back into his gap. But nobody taking on pit road here just yet. Anybody? Are we going to go? Are we going? Why on earth is nobody taking? Nobody's taking a jump to pit road, but they are stacked up 2 by 2 by 2 like it's Talladega here.
We're really starting to go at it here as we are within here this cycle of pit stop. Surprised that nobody has come down yet. Now Blaine Keys in the 1 has made that pass for 3rd. We're in the 24 still staying out. Oh, here comes Andrew Williams. Williams going for the undercut. Going to come down the pit lane here on 29 coming to 30. So is Jack Haas, who won this race last year. And our points leader, Aaron Abel, also going to duck down. See if Duncan Ward maybe responds here. And here he comes. Duncan Ward is in with Andrew Miller. See if all these guys maybe elect to duck down the pit lane. Blaine Keys, no, he's going to stay out. Pit road's going to be busy here as here comes most of the top 10. Blaine Keys electing to go long, looking for the long run. Have to see how all that ends up shaking out for him, but there is the 24 of Duncan Ward coming into the pit lane. There's the 11 of Andrew Williams. Looks like he might have had a bit of a slow release, waited for the 24 to pull into his stall, and might have lost a bit of time there. Like you mentioned, Stewart's execution's going to be key here on pit lane, and maybe a little bit of a slow up there for the 11 of Andrew Williams.
Yeah, you see the exit there, so much cleaner for Duncan Ward. That's a great stop by that Renegade Gutierrez racing team. He actually came in behind the 42. Then he's actually jumped him. And look at Skepko in the 06. He's made a heap of ground there. So that's worked out quite well for the 06 because even then he's gained a bit of ground on Williams. Jack Haas is the one that's really quite interesting. There he is in the 93. He's made a lot of ground here. This is going to be a good battle with Skep. He should get around. Oh, no, Skep's going to send it in. Skep sends it in there, and he should hold that position in the end, and he will. Haas is going to fight it back, getting off into 1 and 2. And these guys are going to. There's Blaine and these guys. So they've made a lot of ground with those. That pit stop there for Haas. That's worked out quite well for him. Stapleton, a question mark? Is that legitimate, or is he a lap down? I have no idea.
He's a lap down.
He's a lap down. I was going to say because. I was going to say, yeah, he is. So, because he was racing with those guys, I was going to say, how did he jump so much ground on pit road? But yeah, he's actually a lap down. So that's disappointing for the 61. But Skep has made a lot of ground in the 06. He started 27th in this race. He's up to 3rd. Brian Webb's in the wall. And he's also a lap down in the 60.
Yeah, couple drivers, unfortunately, with quite slow stops. Carson Miller, Isaac Nichols, Miller, Burnett, Brian Webb, and Nathan Stapleton, 2 big heavy hitters and all that, also getting caught on the pit lane. That's a really tough break for all of those guys, and a lot of shakeups here under this pit cycle, but Ward's still holding on to the race lead, but he is in quite a bit of lap traffic. He's gonna turn the 9 at Jesse Turner! And the caution flies.
Oh boy.
Oh no.
Oh dear.
Oh.
You don't want to do that.
Oh my goodness.
That was classic short track racing right there.
That was a choice.
Flat out dumped it. Flat out
That was a
dumped
choice.
Oh
Oh
boy.
my. Oh, are we going down pit road again?
See
Boy,
if
that would be a
anybody
strategy call.
Does maybe roll the dice, maybe go for some fresh tires. Looks like at least for now,
See,
our
if I
race
was-
leader's going to be staying out.
If I was the crew chief, I would absolutely bring your car in to get fresh tires. Even 2 would make a significant difference. So I would absolutely do it, but clearly no one's going to do that. So we'll see what happens on the restart.
Well, this is definitely shaping up to be a very interesting restart here at the Indianapolis Raceway Park as Duncan Ward gets into the 9 at Jesse Turner, spins him around, and going to set up a late race restart here in the Lucas Oil 200. Hold on to your belts, ladies and gentlemen. This is about to get crazy, but really quickly, we'll take a quick look at what brought us under our first caution flag of the night, and we'll get you all back to the racing action here from the Lucas Oil 200 here at the Indianapolis Raceway Park. Well, following along here with your race leader, the 24 of Duncan Ward, as you're going to see, he's going to clip the left rear quarter panel of the 9 at Jesse Turner, and down the back straightaway, just going to spin him around. I don't really know if he had a reason to do that. I don't know if they had any prior beef, or if Duncan just did it for the love of the game, but regardless, Duncan Ward going to turn the 9 at Jesse Turner here down the back straightaway, and that's going to bring out our first caution of the night here at the Lucas Oil 200 here from IRP, and that's definitely going to be very interesting because although the pits have all cycled out and everything, it's going to bunch everybody back together, and they got a lot of cars on varying strategies here on this restart, which is definitely going to be very interesting. But really unfortunate break there for the 9 of Jesse Turner, and caught up there in a simple spin here down the back straightaway. But really quickly, we'll get you one more replay real quick here at full speed, and we'll get you all back to the racing action here in the Lucas Oil 200 here from IRP.
Well, Duncan Ward trying to go through lap traffic, and I guess he just wanted to give the people in wheelchairs a reason to stand up at some good old short track racing, just not necessary there. But we're going to get a late race restart, and we will all be standing up here because it is going to get quite exciting here.
Absolutely. This is definitely going to be a very interesting restart here at the Lucas Oil 200 here from IRP. Going to restart with about 10 laps to go. Have to see how it all ends up shaking out here on the restart, but it's going to be the number 24 of Duncan Ward leading the field back. Can he hold on here for 10 more laps? Have to see just how it all ends up shaking out here on the restart here from the Lucas Oil 200 here from IRP. Welcome back to the Lucas Oil 200 here at the Indianapolis Raceway Park, wrapping up our first caution of the night for the 9 at Jesse Turner getting spun off the nose, the 24 of Duncan Ward on the back straightaway. Going to be coming green here with just 10 laps to go. You got Duncan Ward out in front, Andrew Williams in second, Skip Silver third, Jack Haas fourth, Logan Williams in fifth. I'm going to be restarting here with 10 laps to go. It's going to be for all the marbles here. This is definitely going to be a very interesting restart as Duncan Ward going to lead the field down the front straightaway, back to the green flag. We're racing once again here in the Lucas Oil 200 here at IRP.
The interesting thing I think to watch on this restart is this is a great chance for those guys who took the overcut and have a little bit extra on their tires to give. We know there are trucks with fresher tires. I mean, Blaine Keys, I think there's a couple guys lined up behind him, so it's going to be interesting to watch. I don't know if it's going to play an outcut, and I don't know if it will play into an effect, but I mean, you're going to have to catch this 24 first as he starts sailing away into the Indiana
Blaine's
night.
on the move, though.
Oh, here we go.
Blaine's on the move. He passes the 25 of Aaron Abel and the 10 of Logan Williams. Already up into the 5th position. Skep Silver all over the back bumper of Andrew Williams. Williams trying to stay close to that 24 of Duncan Ward. But Williams does have the lap older tires and is struggling to try and keep pace. But Blaine Keys is a man on a mission right now. He's caught up to the back of the 93 of Jack Haas, looking for a way around. See if he can get anywhere here through turns 3 and 4, all over the back bumper of that Evans Ross Racing Toyota. Back up front, though, Andrew, he's setting consistent laps with the 24 of Duncan Ward, but not being able to close. Skep Silver, and the caution is back out.
Oh,
Fitzwater's gone around.
Oh, boy.
And, well, if you thought a late race restart was going to be crazy, how about an even later race restart? Duncan Ward going to lead him back to the caution flag. And my goodness, this is going to get spicy.
It's like there are a few trucks involved in that one, and that one a lot more severe than that first yellow. You got the 0170. I think it was Finn Guy as well on pit road, and Fitzwater also with damage. So yeah, we'll see what happens now in the restart, because we're not going to have much time left, and so Andrew Williams is going to have to send it, you think, pretty quickly, get a perfect restart, basically.
This is definitely going to be interesting to see how it all ends up playing out. We're going to scrunch him back up once again. Blaine definitely has a really good opportunity with those fresher tires. Definitely going to be really interesting to see how this will all play out, but under our second caution night here at IRP, let's take a quick look at what brought the caution out, and we'll get you all back to the restart here at the Lucas Oil 200 here at IRP. Well, if you thought that might be our one and only race restart, well, think again. As you're going to watch here, Zachary Fitzwater going to make contact with the 69 of Jeffrey Finguy, going to spin him down into Monaco, who spins up into the 5 of Bruno Diacomo. And all 4 of those guys going to go to the outside wall. Pretty sizable hit there for the 69, especially a Jeffrey Finguy. And then Zachary Fitzwater going to go around here. Nowhere for the 70 of Burnett to go. He's going to spin around. And that's what's officially going to bring the caution flag out, as nowhere for Crown Jr. and Nathan Stapleton to go. They both get some pieces of it. But both Fitzy and Matthew Burnett going to go fully around here through turn 4 and on the front straightaway here at the Indianapolis Raceway Park. A pretty sizable crash there, all things considered there. And a really tough break there for all of those guys involved. But I guess Matt would say that's just how short track racing goes sometimes. And I guess that was a pretty big stack up there to bring out our second caution of the night, which, like I say, going to set up a very late race restart. Going to be going back green here with just a couple of laps to go. This is definitely going to get really, really spicy here as we head to the final restart of this race. But really quickly, we'll take one more quick look here at full speed, and we'll get you all back to the restart and the finish to the Lucas Oil 200 here at IRP.
So Zachary Fitzwater, who's 3 laps down, by the way, gets into Finguy and kind of creates this chain reaction domino effect, gets into Monaco and Diacomo. Finguy hit the wall hard. You see Burnett running into it, Stapleton and Crown. And there's just nowhere to go for the 70 and for the 01 of these guys that were involved in it late. But yeah, probably an avoidable accident, that one. But it happened. It is what it is. And we'll have a restart with a handful of laps to go with Ward and Williams and Silver and Blaine Keys on the move. So we'll see what happens on this final restart.
Going to be a very interesting final restart here from IRP. Like you mentioned, got Duncan Ward out in front. Andrew Williams still in second, Silver in third, Haas in fourth. Blaine Keys was absolutely on the move on that last restart. Have to see what he can do. Going to be going green flag racing here with just 3 laps to go here at the Indianapolis Raceway Park. So let's get you all back to your live coverage and get you all the finish to the Lucas Oil 200 here at the Indianapolis Raceway Park. Welcome back once again here to the Lucas Oil 200 here at the Indianapolis Raceway Park, wrapping up our second caution of the night for a multi-car crash down the front straightaway. Duncan Ward in the 24 looking to hold on here for just 3 more laps. Andrew Williams is in second, Skep Silver is third, Jack Haas is in fourth, and Blaine Keys with slightly fresher tires right now rounds out your top 5. He was absolutely moving there on that last restart. Have to see if he can shoot out of a cannon here on this one and maybe have a shot here at this race win. But here we go. Duncan Ward just looking to hold on here for one more restart. He's going to lead the field back to the green flag here on lap number 48. Here we go. Pull them belts tight. We're back. Green flag racing once again here in the Lucas Oil 200. A bit of an even start there between our top 3. And Blaine Keys fires to the inside of Jack Haas in turn 1. He's already moving. Oh, Andrew Williams might have had to check up a little bit there mid-corner. Lost some ground to the 24 of Ward. We'll have to see if Keys can maybe get by these two and have a shot at that 24 machine of Duncan Ward. But 2 laps to go here from IRP. Ward trying to pull away. Williams trying to keep him within grasp. And Skep Silver in the 06 all over the back bumper of 11, just looking for a really good run. And Blaine Keys, he's got the fresher tires, but I just don't know if he's going to be able to get there. Have to see how it all ends up shaking out here on the white flag. 1 lap to go here in the Lucas Oil 200 for Duncan Ward, looking for his first win on the season.
Blaine's all over the back of the 06 for third, but he's not going to be able to get anywhere near Duncan Ward. He should be able to see through turns 3 and 4 and bring this one home.
They're going to throw everything but the kitchen sink at him, but he is going to hold on and finally score his first win of the season off of 4. Duncan Ward goes to victory lane here in the Lucas Oil 200 here at the Indianapolis Raceway Park for finally his first win of the season and second win in a row for Renegade Gutierrez Racing. Andrew Williams is going to come home in the second position. A great run still for him. Skep Silver with a much-needed run there in the 06. Blaine Keys still a very solid run there in fourth. Matthew Hubert there in the 52 also with a great run is going to round out your top 5. But man, this track just year in and year out always just produces the most random, craziest moments. And this time around was absolutely no different. What a crazy race here at the Indianapolis Raceway Park. And in the end, it's Duncan Ward holding on even after all those caution flags. Like I said, they pretty much about threw everything but the kitchen sink at him. And still managed to hold on in the end after everything is said and done. But just what a race here at the Indianapolis Raceway Park. And taking a quick look here through your finishing order, Duncan Ward gonna come home with his first win of the season. Andrew Williams coming home in second. Skep Silver rounds out your podium for Parker Davis Enterprises. And then you got Blaine Keys there finishing in fourth. Matthew Hubert rounds out your top 5. Tyler Jericho finishing in sixth. How about Jack Haas there coming home in 7th, Logan Williams 8th, Nicholas Samadillo in 9th, Joe Rutkowski rounding out your top 10. But just, man, what a wild race here from the Indianapolis Raceway Park. I know I probably said that quite a few times already, but honestly, it's the truth. Like I said, this track just, for some reason, it just never seems disappointed. It always produces some wild moments. And just, man, what a wild race we saw here tonight here in the Lucas Oil 200 here from IRP. But my goodness, what a crazy race that was.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you can go. No, you can go. You go.
No, you go. I spoke last time.
Okay. I mean, it is so bloody hard to pass around this track. I mean, it does. The track, obviously, we see a lot of cheese grating on the tires. I mean, even with fresh tires here, it is definitely a very tricky track to make an overtake because of where the groove they run here is. But no, I mean, it was a good performance from the 24 team. 2, 3, 4, 5 for GRT friends here. So, I mean, that was still a good performance for us, even though didn't get the ideal outcome we wanted. I mean, next best thing, they're sweeping the rest of the podium. So I mean, it's championship battle's just going to keep raging on and on here. I mean, Aaron Abel came into the night the point leader. He's not going to leave the night the point leader. Andrew Williams is going to take that back, but I do think we're at the tipping point of the season here where we're going to start to see some separation between these trucks, because we've definitely seen the past few weeks the Gutierrez Racing trucks and the GRT folks have really taken a step away from a lot of the rest of the people.
Yeah, absolutely. It's actually quite funny. I mean, you look at the results. I mean, again, I talked about in the pre-race. I mean, a lot of these guys that are up here are, the really high quality drivers that you'd expect in the high quality teams. One thing I will also say, Aaron Abel dropped away in those last those last 3 laps. So that was a brutal last few laps for the 25, and it will be a bit frustrating for him. I can imagine. There's a good for Andrew Williams though. I mean, look, you didn't win the race, but to finish second, given no one's going to catch the 24, given how fast he was, but finish second, you take the points lead. You're not going to complain too much about wasn't that kind of nice? And what we didn't actually mention throughout the race, but when Duncan Ward got that massive start right at the start of the race, Andrew Williams was able to slide down in front of Stapleton, so he was able to really control that second position right from the word go. So that was a great performance from him. Skep Silver did a great job to get from 27th up to 3rd. That's a fantastic performance, especially given the year that he's had so far, the season he's had. And I reckon Keys and Hubert as well, and Jericho you could probably say as well. I reckon they might have had something for the 24 if they just were a little bit further up in the end. But no, it was an interesting race. I'm glad Duncan decided to keep it interesting and decided to take out Turner. That was make it a bit more interesting, make it a bit more entertaining. But he's a deserving winner of this race. He was clearly the fastest truck tonight. So fair play to him and fair play to this team. Renegades Gutierrez Racing. They've got 2 of the best drivers in the series, and it's paying dividends. They've significantly improved this year, and I assume they'll still be leading the team's points after tonight as well. So they're in a really good position, and Duncan now is right in position to go out and potentially go out and win the championship.
To see how it all ends up shaking out, but like I said, it's been a season full of surprises here so far. Renegade Gutierrez Racing has definitely been one of those interesting, pleasant surprises here, as they've now won with both their drivers in Aaron Abel and now Duncan Ward. Well, Aaron Abel, like you said, unfortunately might have slipped back a little bit there on that restart. He still had a great season and still definitely going to potentially have a shot at this championship, as will now that 24 Duncan Ward definitely, after just an absolutely dominating performance here tonight from the Indianapolis Raceway Park. But what a race here in the Lucas Oil 200 here from IRP, and what a dominating performance there by the 24 of Duncan Ward. So next time out here in the Turkey Hill Truck Series, we head to the Nemours Children's L200 at the Dover Motor Speedway. That race will be going up next Saturday, November 1st at noon Eastern Time. Hope to see you all there. That definitely ought to be a very interesting one as well. Monster Mile definitely another track kind of similar to this in the way that it can definitely eat up tires quite a bit, and also definitely has the opportunity for maybe a bit of calamity like we saw here tonight. So that definitely ought to be a very interesting one as well next Saturday, November 1st at noon Eastern Time. Thank you all so much for tuning in here tonight to Lucas Oil 200 at IRP. Thank you so much to both Matt and Stuart for joining me alongside up here in the booth. And I will see you all next time out at the Nemours Children's L200 at the Dover Motor Speedway next Saturday at noon Eastern Time. But until then, you all take care and have a good one. Here's your point standings after race number 10 on the season.